It's the whole reason I got into barbecue, is to hang out with my friends, play loud music, and cook barbecue. But the one thing that did not make it on there, episode 4, you'll see on there, everybody's like, man, I wasn't expecting the people that were left to start crying because I left. And that's when I knew that I had a barbecue family for life and friends for life. So what was it like to be asked on a worldwide TV show? At first I thought it was a joke, and then it became surreal. Walking on set for the first time, I had no idea how big sets were or things like that. And I was expecting maybe 20, 40 people to be out there doing stuff. Come to find out, they had 200 people on set. And you couldn't, you're mic'd up and you couldn't even say you had to use a restroom without somebody knowing and coming, hey, you need to go to the restroom. It's like, how did you? Oh yeah, I'm mic'd up. Before we even started filming, and them literally taking care of you. I had no idea about handlers. These are people that follow you 24 hours a day. Whatever you need, they're there. You want a Coke or something, and there's no Coke in the hotel lobby. They'll run and go get you a Coke somewhere and everything else. But the one thing that did not make it on there, episode 4, you'll see on there, everybody's like, man, Joey's moving slow. Come on, Joey, hurry up. Hurry up, Joey. Come on, Joey, hurry up. Come on, go, Joey.
Oh, come on, Joey, you gotta move faster than that.
What they didn't show on the TV show was that I fell inside the barn. I slipped, bust my butt inside the barn. Broken dishes went everywhere. I hurt my knee. I was kind of limping because I had on these same boots too. So I had on boots. Of course, being Texan, I gotta have on boots. And so I stopped running back and forth because that morning it had rained, and so the ground was still wet. So when I went in the barn that had a slick floor, and I grabbed all of my dishes to start plating, boom, fell on my back. I couldn't help myself but laugh at myself because I was like, damn, Joey, you're that guy. You're the guy on every show that something happens to and it gets filmed. And I, to be honest with you, I really wanted them to put it on there. But it ended up not being on there. And then after all was said and done, and I don't know, well, the cat's out of the bag now, but when I finally went home, I wasn't expecting the people that were left to start crying because I left. And that's when I knew that I had a barbecue family for life and friends for life. And that was pretty memorable for me, when you see me walk off and they're crying, that was all real. That was, they actually had to make me come back. Kevin Bloodsoe was like, hey, Joey, come back here, man. Come back here. And so I turned around and I walked back, and he was like, man, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. He goes, these people crying because you're leaving? Why don't y'all each say something good about Joey, and then we'll go to each of y'all and y'all just say something good about him before he leaves. I stood there, and I think they did show on there where they're actually saying stuff about me and thank you for the friendship and helping out and all this other stuff before the final walk-off for me. That day was really emotional. That was the last day I actually seen them for about 1.5 years, except for Eduardo. I was in Cali in April, so I seen Eduardo, but I hadn't seen anyone else 1.5 years. It took 1.5 years, but we talked every day. Being on the show itself was just surreal, even to have somebody, a Black person like myself, being able to showcase my talents and everything else, and let all the little, Black kids or kids of color or anything else know that they can end up there too, just pushing for them, rooting for them, And I just love being able to help. And Billy Durney of Hometown Barbecue in Brooklyn and Red Hook told me one time, he was like, look, Joey, secrets are for suckers. Because I had asked him about a recipe for something that I had there. So I messaged him and called him, and he was like, look, man, I'll give you the recipe. I'll tell you exactly how to cook it. Secrets are for suckers. So I'll tell anybody anything. It's up to them to execute. And that's what I'm here for, to pass it on, pass on knowledge. Welcome to Casa Victorian, Victorians Barbecue. Yes, I do live here, but everything you see here, built by myself, friends, and family. So that was one of my things is when I got a place, I wanted to do everything myself. So you'll see a lot of things that are personal to me and a lot of things that I've been holding on to for years to specifically put into my first barbecue joint that I have here. If you watched any of my stuff or anything, you know that I love music. There's another amp for playing the guitar, fiddle, for singing, and everything else like that. So that's what makes this unique. There's some antique pieces that I found in antique stores, and we got some other things. That's one of my briskets I made artwork out of on the computer. I thought that was cool. And then you got pictures of me. I was 11 there, 10 or 11, and then my daughter's 10 or 11 right here, and she took a picture with Rodney Scott because she lives in North Carolina, and I called and messaged Ronnie. I didn't get a chance to talk to him on the phone at the time, but I messaged him, my daughter's coming there, and to take a picture with her if he didn't mind. So Rodney's a pretty cool guy and love him to death and everything. So it's a small town. Mart, Texas is about 18 minutes from Waco. Probably about 15 minutes from Baylor, the actual stadium, which is awesome. But let me show you around. Let me show you some other stuff. Once you walk through the door, you're gonna come in to the right. You'll see the sign that says barbecue this way. This is a old A&M hat. This is an old UT jacket. I found this at an antique store. I've had a lot of people offer me money for it, but I won't sell it. And then I had some people that are like, hey, sand it down and repaint it. It'll look great. And I'm like, no, this looks great, in my opinion. Some things that are also donated here, like the deer crossing. The guy that donated that also donated the cow crossing up there. And the cow crossing actually has bullet holes from shotgun shells. That's pretty cool. And then we've got some photos of myself, my wife, our many travels and things like that. We're real big on Halloween. We love Halloween. She was a cat there. I fell in love with her right there. I didn't even barely know her. And of course, I've been a DJ for a long time, and this was actually my first DJing gig at Bar Houston, and I'm still friends with a lot of people that worked at Bar Houston. My wife, Kelly, is from Michigan, Mount Pleasant, go Chips. So, and then we've got some more pictures on here. My wife and I in New York. There's my wife and my daughter. That's me. I think I was probably 12 by this. And this monkey right here, it's somewhere back there. Some candy for the kids, and then we got some merch, more merch right here. We got shirts, hats, stickers, and all kind of stuff right here. There's about 40 seats here, and then you've got your barbecue sauce, you've got your bread, some extra containers, utensils. This is what I consider me. This is me right here, with the exception of liquor. I really don't drink liquor. I'm a beer guy, but I got a lot of family that comes here and they partake in everything on here. But I've got a lot of knickknacks. This is, I've had this robot since I think I was 8 years old. I've had this robot. Some of the ceramic artwork is done by my father-in-law. Huge Star Wars fan. When I mean huge Star Wars fan, there's some bigger, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So you'll see Star Wars knickknack here. I was a big barbecue cook-off guy. So you see a lot of barbecue cook-off stuff from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which is almost kind of where I got my start, cooking barbecue. And and having that smell of burnt meat and the black pepper and everything else like that. Cookbooks, shout out to Kevin Bledsoe. Kevin was also on the Netflix series with me. He was one of the judges. And then also other black people that inspired me. You got Bass Reeves and Mary Fields over there. And I'm a guy of many talents, I like to think. Here's my microphone where I sing in. Here's my new roadie, my new Rode. And one day it's gonna end up being a podcast or live or anything else like that. I do have something to show you. If you look right there, that is an original Michael Jackson Thriller record, unopened. That's the original Star Wars record that has been opened and played. These I got from the Witten House in Australia when I was there for 2 weeks at the resort cooking for them and everything else. And then Scottie Pippen autographed this one, says to JV from Scottie Pippen. And then I got the Henny just in case Kevin shows back up here or anything else. I got something cool to show you. You're a movie buff? There it is, Ghostbusters, that's right. This is homemade. I made this probably about 6 years ago. My friend, my wife, and his friend, we were all Ghostbusters, so I made us all proton packs. So one of the cool things also is this Texas Provisions. You can see they sell these flags, and this is kind of a really nice Texas concept of a flag. But we go back out here, let me show you the smokers. This is my baby, the Mandalorian. And what's great about this is that Travis from M Grill and I designed this. He built it, of course. He's a designer also, of course. We had some things that are special about this smoker. This is one of two that actually, when we designed it, we put a automatic baffle on this one. I do things by myself, so if I'm smoking meats by myself, it's easy to plug this in, go and take a nap or go to bed, and it just regulates the temperature by going up and down, and that saves me a lot of money, it saves me a lot of wood, and I don't have to pay somebody to stay up late nights. So there's red oak here, red oak here, red oak here. All I use is red oak to cook. And I just like the flavor. I love the color that red oak gives my meat. You know, you ever go to a steakhouse and they bring you the perfect steak and you're like, yes, because it looks awesome. That's how I want people to feel when they eat barbecue. So when you get the brisket, it's gonna have a lot of fat on it, on the outside. Back in the day, even still till today, some of the barbecue joints leave it on there and then they'll trim it off in front of you. We don't do that. We just trim it all beforehand. We leave about 1/4 of an inch of fat on there. So let's go ahead and take these turkeys off. We're gonna wrap these and then let them sit so the juices will stay in them and we're good to go. I do want to say we had a Brotherton, I call him, that passed away this week, John Brotherton, rest in peace. Huge part of the Texas barbecue community, huge part of the barbecue community, period, from coast to coast. So just wanted to say that. And what makes Texas barbecue different is we rely heavily on black pepper, and of course, black pepper. And we don't use very much sauce, if any. I think the only thing we'll sauce before we serve it to you guys, it'll have a light sauce on the ribs and then on the chicken as a glaze. If you notice, all of my barbecue sauces, they aren't thick barbecue sauce. They're more of a dipping type or a glaze. We don't throw a whole bunch of barbecue sauce, especially on the brisket. We don't do sauce on the brisket. There's many times that, people, before they even eat it, they'll come and they'll just dump sauce on there. It's like, try it first before you do all that. Hey, but that's their preference. Some people are sauce people. And that's cool with me, You paid for it, you eat it however you want to eat it, man. Saturdays, we usually do some sort of special. 80% of the time, it's tri-tip. That's why they call me Tri-Tip King of Texas. And my buddy that just passed away this week, John Brotherton, is the one that gave me the title, Tri-Tip King of Texas. And we were joking around at a festival when we first met, because he's like, man, all you do is tri-tip. You're like the Tri-Tip King of Texas. A lot of my friends jokingly call me the Tri-Tip King of Texas, because when I started doing tri-tip, a lot of people in Texas had no idea what tri-tip was. So there's a picture where he's pulling me in a little red wagon, and that's because I was the king. So he was pulling me and doing stupid waves and things like that. But that was the type of relationship John and I had. John was my barbecue twin, because we were exactly alike. We crack jokes. We love barbecue. We do it for free. They say, make sure your hobby is something that you love and you want to do it. And then you could turn it into something that you love doing every single day. And that's exactly what I've done. That's what John did. That's what so many of our friends have done. And I am proud of every single one of my friends and the people coming up in Texas barbecue and barbecue period. And I wish everybody nothing but the best. All I want to do is cook with them, have fun with them, have a beer, play some music. Yeah, so some of the details I don't compromise with is crappy briskets. And briskets that have too much fat on them in the beginning, because I'm not the guy that takes it out of the package, seasons it and puts it on the pit. That's great. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I prefer something that I'm able to trim. So I pay attention to that sort of detail. When we're trimming it, I pay attention to the detail of the fat content that's actually in the meat, because that's where it matters. Just little details of plating. I am getting a lot better now that I do it day over and over again. Because being in the age of social media, the first thing they want to do is go and purchase something and take a picture of it. And it's, people have been taking pictures of their food for a long time. And social media has just elevated it even more, because not only do you have however many followers you have, but you got to understand it's just not going out to your followers, especially on stories, it's going out to the whole world. So you got to make sure that things are nice and tight, and even in my restaurant, there's just little details that you may not see or somebody else might see. Some kid might see Grogu right there in the corner from Star Wars. Everything here has a purpose. I know that yellow hat in the corner all the way up top was given to me by someone that I had met in Australia, and he and I had a really good connection. His daughter was helping me out for 2 weeks, do some things, but that was his favorite hat. And he looks like Santa Claus. And believe it or not, he's a cyclist. Big white beard. You never know that this guy rides a bicycle up and down Australia. So I know that that's his hat, and he presented it to me before I left. He actually was like, hey, Joey, come here. I got something to show you, man. I want to give you something. So we walked out to his van, and his daughter was like, look, this is my favorite hat. Love you, man. You're great. I'm going to be rooting for you from Australia. And he gave me his hat. So there's little things that I notice that no one else will notice, and I had to have it in here. It's just the little things. And sometimes the little things are big to someone, and maybe just small to someone else, but they all mean something. You can go around here and ask me a story about anything in here, and I'll tell you the story about it, because a lot of this stuff in here isn't something that I just bought. It's something that I've had for a long time and accumulated and everything else. So if you want to come here, or when you come here, you can find us at 419 East Texas Avenue, AKA Highway 164 in Mart, Texas, 15 to 18 minutes from Waco, right by Baylor. Everything is good. Follow me on social media. You can follow my personal Instagram is at Joey Victorian. You can follow the actual barbecue restaurant at Victorians with an S, barbecue, spell out barbecue, Barbecue. You can find me on YouTube at Pitmaster. That's right, I got it. I'm at Pitmaster on YouTube. You can get on Facebook, just type in my name, and you'll see some pages on Facebook, the restaurant page, and also my barbecue page, personal one. I'd love to see you. I love seeing everybody here, and I love talking to everybody.